So this new minimum wage law has got business owners on edge. They're worried, they're panicked, they're scared, and some of them are already trying to figure out how they're going to be able to afford this added cost of doing business, this increase to their overhead literally almost overnight, and seeking some form of financial assistance, an aid, maybe a loan of some sort. This guy here, Bay Area Auntie Anne's mogul, estimates California's new $20 minimum wage will cost him $470,000 per year. And I'm sitting here thinking, I'm scratching my head like, man, I wish there was like some way that businesses could gain access to funding to help save them and keep them from closing down or from laying people off. And somebody said, you know, Kevin, there was that emergency income disaster loan, an eidl. And they said, you know, that they've seen other YouTubers, interestingly enough, getting these loans. And somebody even alluded to the fact that you probably don't even have to pay it back, which would be crazy to think. But it's crazy because it's almost like, it's crazy, like the government is essentially trying to put businesses out of business. The government is trying to do a good thing by raising the minimum wage, but also putting folks out of business and putting employees at risk. Because you got to think, if you run an Auntie Anne's pretzel shop, you know, the pretzels in the mall, now granted, they're delicious, far from being healthy for you, but they're not crazy expensive. And I don't even know if I would be curious to know how much they do in revenue annually to cover the cost of an additional $470,000 a year. And on top of that, how much more the pretzel they would have to charge for the pretzel to cover that cost if they didn't get a loan. And if they did get a loan, now they're paying interest on it, which makes things even more difficult, even more of a burden, even harder. And I guess this is part of building things back better, which is crazy to think, because this is the same potential presidential or Democratic presidential candidate if by chance, you know, Biden were to drop out of the race. And this is what he's doing to his own state. Meanwhile, he's got his own restaurant that apparently he's immune to paying this $20 minimum, this new law. He's immune from having to pay this $20 minimum wage, and he's only paying $16. But I wonder how many of his employees will stick around if they say, you know what, I can leave and go work at McDonald's and make 20 bucks an hour. I can go work at Chipotle and make 20 bucks an hour instead of working for you here making 16. Possibly. But then this actually kind of reminds me of getting into the same conversation and discussion of YouTube. And will you make more money posting more videos? Will you make more money posting longer videos? Will you make more money posting with a posting and content creation strategy like Sarasota Tim? Or will you make more money with a content creation strategy and upload schedule like Blind Views? Or if we really want to get into it, let's add into the mix some of the other channels that we talked about the other day in regard to Social Security by way of Azul, Blind to Billionaire, and Steve Ram, who's part of the Ram fam. Well, who goes to Ram's church? I think I saw him on YouTube delivering a sermon at his church.
Small talking, and he says to me, so have you had any major life changes recently? And I told him, well, you know, I believe that God told me in a dream to move, so I quit my job, sold everything I have, flew across the country to a city that I've never been before, and I'm trying to get businesses launched full-time for the first time ever. So a couple of new things going on. And he says, stressed out? And then I was like, no, honestly, like I feel pretty good. I feel like I'm doing well. And then he tells me, no, I'm not asking you if you're stressed out. I'm telling you you're stressed out. And I was like, what? Like, excuse me? And
whatever it is, I did discover just the other day, or yesterday, I think it was yesterday we talked about this, that Azul, his channel, is gone. It was hacked, or supposedly it was hacked. And he won't get it back for a week. So he says, we'll see, the clock is ticking. But I came across another channel this morning who had his Facebook hacked. The Table with AO, Anthony O'Neill. I think you guys might remember him from some times he spent with Dave Ramsey, and he lost 40 grand. They took 40 grand out of his bank account and hacked his Facebook and all sorts of other crazy stuff. But if you want to add one more on top of that, I think I'm trying to remember this from memory, but I think it was Legion of Man. And this one popped up on my home screen, and he got demonetized. He got demonetized. And he had to prove to YouTube the content that he was creating and who he was and the integrity of it and all this, that, and the other. So honestly, guys, it's really crazy to think that odds are, and they came out and they said that this was part of some routine security check, which honestly, I'll tell you guys, not this December, but last December, so December 2022, YouTube did that to me, and they put me through the ringer on that one, and everything ended up being okay. But it's like, if YouTube steps in, I'm talking to my YouTubers out there, I'm talking to my content creators, I'm talking to the folks out there who are getting ad revenue and membership revenue and super thanks and super chats and all that from YouTube for the content that they upload and they publish. How long can you go when YouTube decides to stop paying you? Because let's just look at it from the standpoint and position of Sarasota Tim. How long can he survive? What would happen to Sarasota Tim if YouTube just stopped paying him? It's not even a matter of how much do you make for shorter videos or longer videos. What if YouTube accidentally demonetized his channel? What if YouTube thought his channel was actually spamming because of how many uploads he was putting up and the dislike ratio, and upon further review determining that there was really no content or quality behind the content, and they flag his account as spam? So these are important things to consider, just because you just never know. You want to have a backup plan, you want to have a plan B, you want to have a strategy. Nobody wants to get punched in the mouth. You know, everything changes at that point. So yeah, crazy stuff, folks. But I really hope that nobody experiences any of these financial pains, and that these businesses in California can find some way to offset these expenses and these costs without passing it on to the consumer, for which the consumer will eventually start to buck back and, you know, reduce how much they're going to engage with these businesses, reduce these businesses' revenues, and reduce their earnings and profit. And hopefully we don't wind up in the potential disastrous situation of a Great Depression, basically, at the hand of the current administration on their way out, as they're afraid and kind of like nervous about the entire situation, to the point at which now we even got New York City's Attorney General Letitia James questioning the integrity of Donald Trump's bond. It's like they're fighting from both ends, from every possible angle, and what is to be considered election interference. But I think it's because they're afraid. I think it's because they're scared. I think it's because they're worried. But, you know, a lot of this damage is almost irreversible. So where does that put us? Hey, you guys have a great day. I'll see you later. Bye.